Have you ever wondered how your favorite artist gets everything set up for their concerts? Probably not, and that's okay because we'll explain it to you. But first, we gotta finish loading in. Let's go, girl! Today, I will be breaking down concerts load in to load out. First and foremost, we have to unload the trucks. Now, the trucks carry every piece of equipment that is needed for this tour, whether it's costumes, lights, sound, the stage itself, everything, including trusses, like you can see right here. Now, depending on the size of the tour, there could be anywhere from a couple to almost 100 trucks. I know for Taylor Swift's Eras tour, there was about 80 to 90 trucks. Now, these are semi-trucks full of equipment. Now, the trucks are loaded in a backwards way, meaning that everything that needs to be taken out first is loaded last from the previous show. This makes it easy so everyone that is unloading the trucks knows where to put things and that whatever comes out first needs to be set up first. Loading these trucks is not an easy feat. You're basically playing Tetris while trying to stay organized and know a certain order of things and remember weight distribution for these big semi-trucks. It's crazy. And sometimes the trucks are organized based on what equipment they have, whether it's a couple of audio trucks, a couple of lighting trucks, a couple of set trucks, or just however is the most efficient. That's kind of determined beforehand. Now, the first things to be set up in any production is anything that is being flown in the air. This includes theaters and stadiums and arenas and small venues. Whatever needs to be hung up in the air, flown in the air, whatever is set up first. Whether that's on a truss or on a batten, anything that needs to be up in the air for the show is set up first, and they're set up by riggers. This is a long process that takes time and is made sure that it is safe because it's actually a very dangerous job. Can you imagine basically being a trapeze artist, making sure that weight is distributed properly, things are hung up in the right place, and that everyone that is standing underneath it is safe? Everything that's being hung up in the air is laid out on the ground beforehand and made sure that it still works and still good, and all the checks are done on the ground, and then it gets flown up in the air. Then power gets sorted out, figuring out who needs what kind of power and where. Usually there is a tech specs sheet that all of the venues come with that basically state where power is in the stadium, in the arena, in the theater, in the venue, explaining how much power they can use in each power source and where they are, so they know that they can set up their boards over here, their lights over here, their distros over here, and kind of get a feel for things. Once everything is flown up in the air and is safe, then the stage and the set are built, then audio, lighting, video, LED can all be set up simultaneously because they're in their own sections. So they're able to set up all of their specific equipment and tech as needed. Usually for these tours, it's basically second nature because they've been doing this every single day, or at least almost every single day for months. So they know exactly where things are set up, how things are set up, and it's super easy and quick. I've seen personally on tours that sometimes there are colored gaff tape on the corner of road cases that kind of help the stagehands that are unloading the trucks know what certain things are, what certain cases are, and which areas to place them. That way, the unloading and the setup of these things in this equipment can be done very efficiently, very quickly, and very effectively. Once everything is set up, then the instruments get set up, and then the instruments are mic'd because you kind of want to have that done at the last point in time, because if they need to move something, it's going to be really difficult to move an entire drum kit, and that's not really fun. Based on personal experience, not the best thing. Once all the tech is set up and everything is mic'd, then there are tech checks, and basically making sure that the signal flow works, all the lights still work, the video wall works, the cameras work, the boards, the light and sound boards work, the microphones work, and just basically do a line check of every piece of equipment to make sure that nothing got damaged in transit. Once those checks are done, then if there's needed, there's a rehearsal with the artist, and if not, then there is most definitely a sound check to make sure that everything still works, all the instruments works, all the mics work. Even though they've done this 100 times by now, they still need to make sure that everything still works. Once that's done, then the crew gets a break, and if the crew is only there for load in and load out, they get a really long break, and if they're there to actually run the show, then they get a shorter break, but IATSE would not be happy if they didn't get a break. And neither would the techs. Can you imagine working for hours setting things up and not being able to sit down? Then the doors open, the audience gets settled, the house music plays, if there's a thing on the screen, then that plays, and everyone's kind of just sitting and waiting for the show. Once the show starts, there's either an opener or there's just the act, and the show happens, and getting into that is a whole other video, so let me know if that's something you want to see. But once the show ends, it's this big orchestrated breakdown that's basically the same crazy event that happened to set everything up, but in exact reverse order. So whatever was set up first is broken down last, whatever was last set up is broken down first, and it's even faster, if you can believe. The trucks are all packed up in reverse order, ready to be unloaded in the next location, exactly how it was in this location. And they clean up the stadium, arena, theater, wherever they were, and leave and head to the new location. Can you believe that all of this was set up just to be broken down to be set up again? It's crazy. Now, there's so many things that I briefly covered or didn't even get to go over in this video, so if you're interested in some of the things I'm about to explain, please let me know because I will be more than happy to make entire videos about these. Now, some of the jobs that are specifically for tech and for the show include riggers, stagehands, backline, audio, video, lighting, LED, electricians, and they all have very specific, very important, distinct jobs within this setup and breakdown, and not just during setup and breakdown, but also during the show. And we didn't even get to cover everything that's in backstage and happening before and after the show. We have production managers, tour managers, accountants, promoters, merch, security, caterers, marketing and PR, runners, ushers, front of house, production assistants, so many things. I could go on and on. So if you're interested in more of the pre-production and post-production side of things, please let me know. Now, sometimes there is a crew A and crew B, and if the tour is big enough and if the schedule is crazy enough, then they will have duplicates of everything, every equipment, every piece of the set, every costume, where one group is on location setting up, preparing for a show that day, while the other group is traveling to another location to be set up for the following day or the day after that. And it's very interesting because they could have duplicates of everything to be able to be set up twice. And with that, then the main people who are running the show and actually part of the production go to every show, but sometimes the stagehands are not. There's only stagehands for certain shows, like crew A and crew B. And there's this whole other world where these companies' entire jobs are to rent the equipment that are for these tours and for these concerts, where they have warehouses where they are prepping and de-prepping the show. They build the entire set in their warehouse to be able to check to make sure that everything is exactly as the artist wants and that things will work, and if not, they are literally there to be able to grab another light or another microphone or another speaker and another hazer to make sure that the show is exactly as they want it. So if you want to learn more about that, leave me a comment. Now, that was a very basic overview of everything that has to do with a concert, load in to load out. So if there's more things that you want to learn about, let me know in the comments. I also want to hear your experiences during these shows, whether you work these shows or you go to these shows, and what are your thoughts on what I explained, because I'm probably missing a lot of important information, but I hope you learned something and that you enjoyed it. And next time that you're at a concert, please stick around for a couple minutes and watch the crazy, choreographed, meticulous cleanup that is happening, because as I've been part of it, it's crazy and we're super quick and it's so fun to watch. So if you have the time after a show, please watch that and appreciate all the hard work that it took them to be able to set up the show for you to enjoy. I love my dress. I love her. Shout out to Teresa. Thank you. Anyways.